Well, hello everyone, this is Steven from A Crafty Situation and Mosaic Moments, and we are so excited to be joining you for this volume summer fun event, and we hope that you're having a great weekend so far. We hope that you've just loved the presentation so far, and that you're ready to get started with our Mosaic Moments project that we have for you using the Perfect Spot Craft Along Crafty Box. I wanted to kind of explain to you what's going to happen over the next few minutes, and then also what's going to happen after this video ends. So in just a second, I'm going to point my camera downwards, and we're going to get started with the Perfect Spot Craft Along kit, and we're going to work on building our 12 by 12 page. Now, in the instructions and in the promo video for this class, I had mentioned that I don't think we're going to quite finish the page. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for about 23 or 24 minutes. We're going to get really good and started with the page. I'm going to stop at that 23 or 24 minute mark, kind of go over the sales and the promos that we have for this volume event, and then I am going to finish before my time is up at the 30-minute mark. But then shortly after the presentation, we're going to post a second video on the volume Facebook page, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick up right where we left off, literally right at the spot that we left off, and we're going to go ahead and finish the page. And I anticipate it'll probably take about another 15 to 20 minutes. So the reason why we're doing that is because we wanted you to be able to have a fully completed scrapbook page and also be able to show you the companion page and kind of walk through for 2 or 3 minutes on how to build that in case you want to build that on your own with some of the other supplies that we gave you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to point my camera downwards and we're going to begin. Okay, so everybody should be able to see my work surface now. The one thing that I did forget to mention while the camera was pointed at me directly was that if you do have any questions or you think of anything, we are available in the chat. Both Beth and I are chatting with you during the event today. So if you do have any questions or you get lost or anything like that, we are happy to help. Please feel free to chat away. We will be monitoring that both during this event now, and then if you're watching afterwards, we'll also monitor the comments there and respond to any comments that we get. All right, so these are the pages that we have made with the Perfect Spot Craft Along kit. Everybody saw the page on the left here, the one that says Smile. I love this double page spread because I really think it is summer fun. I grew up on the East Coast, pretty close to the beach, so anytime somebody mentions summer to me, I think of the beach. So I had to make these pages when I heard that the event was going to be themed after summer fun. This is using two of our relatively newer die sets, our Perfect Spot die set, as well as our Perfect Spot inserts. Now the Perfect Spot inserts are made to work with the Perfect Spot die set because it allows for inserts like Smile that we have here on the page on the left and Love that we have here on the page on the right. I recognize that this is probably the first time that you're seeing this companion page. During the second part of our video, our pre-recorded video, I'm actually going to just kind of walk through for a minute or two how we made this page. But for right now, we're going to focus on making the left-hand page and kind of the technique that we used to make this page look really cool. So let me move this out of the way for right now. We've got our die sets here. Now let me show you what our die sets look like really quick. This is the Perfect Spot die set, and it comes with 9 different dies that will allow you to make these beautiful effects on the page, and I'll kind of describe to each die what I'm doing here. For most of the pieces in this set, it's going to come with the die that fits the grid, which is kind of this outer die that you see here. For instance, this die will fit the grid, and then it comes with a layering piece as well. And the reason why that is nice is because it'll help you to make, like we use the die that fits the grid to do the blue or the tan photo mat pieces, and then we use the layering die that comes with the kit to cut our photos to layer on top. So all of those pieces are included with the Perfect Spot die set. And then the other die set, the companion set that we're going to be working with that came with your Craft Along kit if you ordered the one with dies, is the Perfect Spot insert set. And I like this because it's 4 different circles, and 2 of them have words, Love and Smile. We use Smile on the page here in the middle, and 2 of them have icons of a star and a heart. So they're really nice to be able to use to accent your page. They fit perfectly with the circles that are found here as part of the Perfect Spot die set. So these are the dies that we're going to be working with. If you are ready to get started, let's go ahead. I'm just going to move some things out of the way here. Move my dies to the side right now. And I've got my piece of Mosaic Moments grid paper. If you're brand new to Mosaic Moments, this is our grid paper that we use. It's our standard 12 by 12 size. In your craft along kit, you received 2 sheets of white grid paper, but if you have other favorite colors besides white, don't worry, we've got you taken care of. We have over 100 different colors of grid paper. Again, standard 12 by 12 size, but we also have 8.5 by 11, 6 by 6, and we also have them in grid card form so that you can make greeting cards to send to friends and family. On our scrapbook paper, one side is blank, so if I flip this over, the one side of the page is going to be blank, but the other side, the side that we're going to use, actually has a printed grid on it. What we're going to be doing as we make our page is we're going to be lining our elements up, whether they're photographs or they're cardstock pieces or photo mats, onto the grid line, and we're going to do it in such a way that we just cover the grid line without going over. So we just want to cover it without going over, and we're going to be using repositionable adhesive to do that becomes permanent over time. But what the result is, or what we're looking for the final effect, is elements on the page and photos on the page that are lined up perfectly, both horizontally going across the page and vertically going up and down the page, with a nice even spacing in between. You see that nice white space in between. By doing that, what we've done is we've created a scrapbook page that's really nice and really appealing to the eye. It looks beautiful to the eye, and the eye is just naturally drawn to how everything is laid out in this perfect fashion. We do that with the grid lines, but we cover those grid lines so your final audience, who may not be scrapbookers or may not know about the Mosaic Moment system, has no idea how you got this finished layout with everything lining up perfectly. And because the grid lines are covered up, you never need to tell them your secret unless you want to. So that's what we're going to be using. As you get started with your grid paper today, if you're brand new, I recommend that you line your grid paper up so that the Tammy Potter Copyright 2001 logo is in the top left-hand side. That's going to put your grid lines to the top and grid lines to the left, and we're going to get started in that fashion. Now, let's take a look at our page real quick, and let's take a look at it with our dies that we used. So what the Perfect Spot die set does is it allows you to create a couple of different, I call them modified mosaics in such a way. You can see here, if you take a look at this top picture, this is all one 4x6 photo. So it's a standard 4x6 photo that you can either print at home or get printed at CVS or Walgreens or Walmart. So what this is doing is it's got the die, and the die on the tan and the blue here has cut what I call our photo mats. And instead of cutting the picture one time in the form of a square or a rectangle, it allows us to create this really cool, like I said, I call it a modified mosaic effect because it's cutting it into squares like we might be used to, but then it's also doing something different. It's allowing us to cut a circle in the middle. And I just think that's different. I really think that's kind of like a cool effect. So we've added that circle here in the middle. So we've done that for this page 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I really like about doing it is if you have your subject and your subject is in the middle of the picture, or maybe it's not a person, maybe it's a favorite pet, or it's something with scenery, it's the sunset, it's a palm tree, it could be the beach umbrella, it could be anything. You can kind of offset that in the center and have, like I said, this really cool rest of your picture as a mosaic on the outside. Now, this page, we've done this again 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll do it 4 times during our video presentations with you. We've accented with 1" by 1" squares using our 1" grid die, so we've accented those with the yellow squares. We've used our Perfect Spot insert, and we've done smile in the middle here with our dies to create this blue border on the background. And then we've placed 4 smaller photos in the top right-hand corner and the bottom left. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on recreating that with the pictures that I have. All right. So let me take a look and let me show you the pictures that we've got here. I've just reproduced the pictures that we used on this original page, and we're going to make it here on the right. We've got our sunbather that's here with the inner tube. We've got our palm tree. We've got our lounge chair set up with the beach umbrella, and then we've got the mother and daughter running on the beach here. One thing that I will mention as you're choosing photos to do a layout like this is, again, you may want to have your subject that's a little bit farther away. It could be a graduation picture or a graduation season or something like that, but a little bit farther away and centered in the picture. That's a really great way to use these dies. Or you could just have where your subject's far away and you could do scenery on the background and then do your subject in the middle if you'd like to do that as well. So we've got our pictures. I know I'm going to use 4 big pictures at 4 by 6, and then I've got my 4 smaller pictures that are 2 squares by 2 squares that I'm going to put at the top and the bottom. So what you're going to need to get started is some of your cardstock that came in your kit. I will show you that I have 3 of the different pieces set up here. I have got a strip of my tan cardstock, a strip of my light blue cardstock, and a strip of my yellow cardstock. All of these strips here are cut to 5 inches in length by 12. So 5 inches by 12 is the cut that you're going to want to make. Let's go ahead and start with the tan. We're going to actually get our cutting started right away to get our photo mats made. So I'm going to go ahead and cut with my tan here. I've got my die cut machine here. Now, if you've never used our dies before, all of our dies are what are called wafer thin dies. So what's nice about them is they work on any of the die cut machines pretty much that are on the market now that accept wafer thin dies. You can see they're nice and thin. We're going to put it onto our cardstock and we're going to run it through the machine. Now, this is the die, and what I'm creating here is I'm creating this tan photo mat that goes behind here. So that's what I'm creating using my one of my pieces for my perfect spot die. And I'm actually using the larger of this die. There's a smaller version which is meant for layering. I'm using the larger die, the one that fits the grid. So I'm going to run that through my machine. Now we're going to end up doing this a total of 8 times. So this is our first cut. We're going to run this through a total of 8 times to be able to give us this effect that we want. 4 times for this picture, and 4 times for this picture down below. So that's what I'm going to do right now for you. I didn't do any pre-cutting because some people said that I get too far ahead of them if I pre-cut. So I figured I would cut along with you this time while we're doing this. So that way you can see exactly the way I'm placing the die on the paper to be able to give the cuts that we want. So I've done 2 of these now. I'm going to do number 3. And what I'm doing, you're going to see, is I'm placing my die in such a way on the paper that I'm also preserving the circle in the middle. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because we're actually going to cut the circle with one of the dies that are in the Perfect Spot kit, and we're actually going to use that. So I want to preserve that circle there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of keeping my die a little bit farther apart to be able to preserve that circle. So while I've been talking here, I've already cut 3 of my square pieces with kind of that corner notched out there. I've cut 3 of them, and then that was the 4th. So I've got 4 already. Now I'm going to take my circle die, and again, you're going to want to use the larger of the circle dies. I'm going to take my circle die and I'm going to put that right in the middle, and because I kept them spaced out enough, I should have enough room to get my circle cut there. If you happen to not, just use another small piece of your tan paper to cut your circle out. So I've now run that through my machine here, and I've got my circle cut out. So you can see here I've cut my 4 outer pieces, I've cut my circle, and now I'm going to repeat that same thing on the brown because I need a total of 8 of these square or outer pieces, and then a total of, it's actually 3 different circles. I need a total of 3 circles, and you'll see that I'm going to use the 3rd tan circle in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just continue to cut here. So I've got 1 cut. I'm going to do my 2nd one now. And while I'm doing these cuts, I wanted to just make a brief promo announcement that I was just talking to Kate with Great Lakes Scrapbook Events right before I recorded this video for the event, and wanted to tell you that we're really excited. October 7th, 8th, 9th is right around the corner, and we're really excited to be joining you live again for anybody that can make it to the Great Lakes Mega Meet event, which is October 7th through 9th. at the same place that we usually go to, which is the Suburban show place in Novi. We're excited to be back. It's going to be our second show back from the pandemic. So we were just talking about that tonight. It was fresh in my mind. So in case you were wondering if we're going to make it to Novi this year, we will definitely be there to have a live booth and to do some classes and some demos and things like that. All right, so I've cut my 3 square pieces for the outside. The last thing I need to cut here is I need to cut my circle and I need to cut my final square piece. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do both at the same time. That's perfectly allowable. You're able to do it. But the only thing I would make sure of is if you're going to cut 2 at the same time, just make sure that the dies don't touch each other. You definitely don't want them to overlap, but I always just tell people make sure they don't touch each other either, and I have them just spaced apart so they're not touching. Otherwise, you may end up crunching your dies in a way that you definitely do not want to. All right, so this is what my final page looks like. I've cut out 4 squares and one circle, 4 of the squares and 1 circle. Remember, the last thing I need to do is I need, for the tan piece, I need 1 additional circle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out now. So, and that one's going to be the one for the middle. So I'm just right now doing pretty much all of my cutting. So you're seeing a lot of the cutting right now. But it's good to see this because all of our dies, and we have over 200 different dies, all of our dies are made to fit on the grid and made to cut cardstock, and then we also use them to cut photos as well. So cardstock and photos. Now what I need to do is I need to repeat this same process on my blue paper. I'm going to need 8 of those. I keep calling them square pieces because they look like squares with just the little semicircle cut out of them, or quarter circle cut out of them. So I need 8 of those and then 2 circles out of my blue. So that's what I'm working on now. So as we talk, I'm kind of working on that. So like I mentioned, we will be exhibiting on October 7th and 9th for the Novi show for the Great Lakes Scrapbook events. We will look to teach some classes during those days to see what space is available in the classroom. And we'll do a make and take at our booth in case you get to stop by. This will be our 2nd year at the Great Lakes Scrapbook events. We weren't there last year, of course, because of COVID-19. But we were there the year before, and we're so excited to be back. I love the area, and I'm going to love to see it in October. So we can't wait, and we hope that anybody that can join us does join us for a really fun event. But we were really happy to be able to stay in touch with you through COVID-19 through this virtual event, and we appreciate Kate and her team for putting them on and kind of keeping us all sane, all in touch, all of those good things. So we really do appreciate that. So, running through my last of my 4, again, I've got my circle in the middle because I need 2 of the circles as well as 8 of the square pieces with the quarter circle cut out. So, got my 1 circle, got my 4 squares. I'm just going to repeat this one more time for us. And we are almost done with our blue and our tan cardstock pieces, and then we'll move on to our other pieces that we need. So there's square number 5, the first square for the next mosaic that I'm doing here. We're going to cut that. We're going to cut it another 3 more times. And then there's one additional cut that we need to do for blue that's special that we didn't have to do for the tan, and I'm going to show that to you. So hopefully by cutting these with you, you're able to follow along with me. And we didn't get too far ahead because, like I know, sometimes I've heard that we get a little bit farther ahead because I'll have pre-cut things for you. So I'm hoping to not be too far ahead of you, and you're able to follow along with us with our cuts. And I'm just going to place that circle there and do my final cut with the square and with the circle. All right, let's pull that out here. And I'm just checking my circle. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't undercut it. And I just, because you can kind of see how it almost looks like it's to the edges. And I think I'm okay, but you know what? This is some of the mistakes that you make sometimes on live TV. I'm going to actually recut that because I want to make sure that I've got a really good crisp circle, and I might have just undercut it a little bit. So I'm going to put that up there and I'm going to recut it so you can see that sometimes even I make some cutting errors as well. The other thing that I'm going to cut is I'm going to cut using this die here. And what this die does is it cuts 4 corner pieces. So it's the 4 corner pieces of the smile here. I need those 4 corner pieces. So I'm going to cut that as well right next to my circles. So I'm going to run those through the machine. So I'll apologize about that. I made a mistake cutting my circle the first time, but I'm going to quickly fix that now. So, all right, I've run this last bit through for my blue pieces, my light blue pieces. I've got my circle that I needed, the one that I was replacing because I miscut the first one. And now what I also have is I've got these 4 corner pieces. You can see here, they punch out just like this, and these are used to go around where it says smile there. So I am going to set those to the side. We've now done our cutting of our tan and our blue pieces, and we can set those to the side. Put this scrap piece away. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to use my smile die from my perfect spot insert set, and I want to cut onto my yellow paper. Now what I will tell you that I've done already with my yellow paper is everybody received as a bonus a pack of this scrapbook adhesive by 3L. It's double-sided adhesive. And what I'm going to do here, what I've already done, is I've taken my double-sided adhesive, I followed the instructions on the yellow transfer part here, and I've applied it to the back of my sheet of yellow. And the reason why I've done that is to create what I call a double-sided sticker. So what's going to happen is when I cut using this die, and you can see I've already made one circle cut here. When I cut using this die, what's going to punch out on the back is going to be a circle. Or it's going to be a sticker, excuse me. It's going to be a circle as well, but it's going to be a circle sticker. And what that's going to do is allow me to apply that smile that you see in yellow here on top of my brown piece of cardstock, and I'll show it to you in just a second. But it's going to make it easier than trying to get adhesive all over there. So that's why I've done that. You can elect to do that if you'd like to, or if you want to save your double-sided adhesive for something else. But that's why we've included it, because it's really good for applications like this, where you have fine bits that come out, and if you poke this out, you're going to see that this is really thin here. I just want to be careful because I want to keep my dot to my eye that's right there. But you see how that's kind of fine that comes out there. I want to make sure that I keep those pieces and that I glue them down and they stay glued well. So I've got my smile piece here, and I've got some extra little bits of my die that I'm just going to poke out. So I've got my die clean now. Put that back on the sheet and get rid of that. And I've got my smile here, and what I'm going to do is by putting that adhesive on the back first, it's created the two-sided sticker. So all I need to do is pull that adhesive off, and there's a little piece right in the E. Pull that adhesive off, and then I can stick that right onto my tan cardstock without any issue then. So it's just a little bit of a cheat that I like to do if I'm going to be especially layering something with really thin frames. It just helps to get that layered a lot easier, and that way I'm not worried about part of it not having adhesive or not being stuck down. Now, I played a mean little trick on myself. I gave myself a die with a dotted I in, which I sometimes don't like to do on TV because it's harder for me to get the back off of it and to get that stuck down, but we're going to try it anyway. I've got my reverse tweezers here, and you can see here I've got the eye in my tweezers, and we do sell these tweezers in case you'd like them as well, because I think they make life a lot easier. And you can see now I've dotted my eye and smile. All right, so what we've done so far is we have cut our pieces, our tan pieces and our blue pieces that go onto our layout. We've cut the tan here, and we've cut the blue circle in the middle. We've cut the blue pieces, we've cut the tan circle in the middle, and then we've also cut our border for our smile, and we've cut and glued down our smile onto our third tan circle. So what we're going to do right now is I need to pause from this video. I want to go over, for anybody that's watching this live during the volume event, I want to go over really quickly some specials that we're doing for the volume event. But I'm going to pause this, and then what we're going to do then is we're going to come back to this layout exactly where we're finishing right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on finishing it. So I'm going to show you how we cut out our 1-inch squares, and then how we cut out our photographs to put down on this layout, and we're going to finish building this page. So like I had mentioned before, we knew we weren't going to have time to finish everything here, so we are going to post that supplemental video. So if you followed along with me so far, we will get to the finished completed page here. We're just going to do that in the second video that should go about another 20 to 25 minutes, and that's going to be posted and available forever. So if you're going to go on and get to another presentation, please by all means do so. But you can certainly watch that later this evening to go ahead and finish your scrapbook page. That way you have a completely finished page. Let me bring up for you now some of the specials that we have going on. So this is our volume Summer Fun Virtual Event Specials. You're going to visit acraftysituation.com to shop. On A Crafty Situation, if you use the coupon code JUNE21 at checkout, you're going to receive 25% off all of our regular price dies, grid paper, grid cards, tools, and adhesives. And we are giving 2 free paper pads away with a $75 purchase while supplies last. So we actually found 2 more boxes of paper pads. So we're going to give 2 pads of paper away with a $75 purchase while supplies last. And the nice thing about that $75 threshold is if you do order to that threshold, you also get free shipping for orders over $75. So all of those sales are good through June 19th at 11:59 p.m. Again, 25% off all regular priced purchases using the code JUNE21. So those are our specials that are going on. Just to, again, recap what we're going to do. We're going to end the video now because we're right at about our 30-minute time slot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up and continue again in a separate video that's going to be posted by me, Steven Ziegler. You'll see my post come through that will have the completion of this page, probably another 25 to 30-minute video that will cover the completion of this page. We will also talk about how we did our companion page, using the Perfect Spot die set and the Perfect Spot inserts. So I wanted to thank you for joining us for our volume virtual event presentation. I'm sorry that for the majority of the video you just saw me cutting here and talking, but we will work in our second video, our add-on video to this, to build our page. Have a great rest of your volume event today. I hope you're enjoying all the presentations so far, and I know that there are some great ones to come. And we will look forward to seeing you in our supplemental video where we will finish our Perfect Spot